911 call center. Night dim lights. A digital clock flips to 2:17 a.m. A call comes in. The dispatcher answers, only silence. 13 seconds pass. The line goes dead. The screen flashes an old address. 417 Hollow Creek Road. Hashtag Hollow Creek. .417 survives the flames. Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on the other end of a 911 call? In the dead of night, when the city sleeps, the call center is a beacon of readiness. Dispatchers sit under fluorescent lights, fueled by coffee and a sense of duty, waiting for the next emergency. But in one particular center, something strange started happening. Something that defied all explanation. It began on a quiet Tuesday. The calendar flipped to a new day, and life in the dispatch center went on as usual. Calls came in, emergencies were handled, and the steady rhythm of the night shift continued. But then, at exactly 2:17 a.m., a call came through. The line was open, but there was nothing on the other end. Just pure, unnerving silence. The dispatcher, a seasoned veteran named Mark, tried everything. 911, what's your emergency? He'd ask. His voice calm but firm. He'd repeat the question, check the line, run diagnostics. Nothing. After a minute of dead air, the line would disconnect. Just like that. At first, it was dismissed as a technical glitch, a pocket dial of faulty phone line somewhere in the city. But the next night, it happened again. Same time, 2:17 a.m. A different dispatcher, Maria, took to call. Again, she was met with absolute silence. She could hear the faint electronic hum of the open connection, but no voice, no cry for help, no background noise. Nothing. It was as if the call was coming from a void. The third night, and the fourth, and the fifth. The silent call returned, always at 2:17 a.m. on T. Panic began to creep into the call center. This was no longer a glitch. It was a pattern. It was a ritual. The dispatchers started calling it the ghost call. They would watch the clock, their hearts pounding as 2:16 turned to 2:17. The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. Who was calling? Why were they silent? Was it a prank? A threat? Or something else entirely? They tried tracing the call, but the signal was always scrambled, bouncing off multiple towers, impossible to pinpoint. It was a digital ghost, leaving no tracks. The dispatchers, people trained to handle the worst moments of others' lives, found themselves terrified of a silent phone call. They started imagining things. Some swore they could hear faint breathing just beneath the static. Others thought they heard a single, whispered word, too faint to understand. Sleep deprivation and stress played tricks on their minds. The ghost call was becoming an obsession, a dark cloud hanging over the night shift. They'd talk about it in hushed tones during their breaks, sharing theories, each one darker than the last. Was it a victim who couldn't speak? A ghost trying to communicate from beyond the grave? The fear became unbearable. The night shift, once sought after rotation for its quiet periods, became the shift no one wanted. Seasoned dispatchers, people who had calmly guided others through fires and home invasions, started calling in sick. They'd trade shifts, offer overtime pay to anyone willing to take their place. Anything to avoid being the one to answer the 2:17 a.m. call. The supervisors were at their wits' end. Morale plummeted. The center, designed to be a place of control and order, was now a place of fear and chaos. Arguments broke out. People snapped under the pressure. The ghost call wasn't just haunting the phone lines, it was haunting the people who answered them. To this day, the origin of the 2:17 a.m. call remains a mystery. It continued for months, a silent, nightly visitor that terrorized an entire dispatch center. Then, as suddenly as it began, it stopped. One night, the clock ticked past to 17, and the phone remained silent. And the next night, and the night after, The ghost call was gone, but its memory lingers. The dispatchers who lived through it never forgot. The silence on that line was louder and more terrifying than any scream they had ever heard. What do you think it was? A technical anomaly, a cruel prank, or something far more mysterious? Let me know your theories in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoy a good mystery, make sure to subscribe for more.
INT 911 Center. Late night and new dispatcher stays on the line longer. In the silence, a faint smoke alarm beeps. Then a whisper crawls through the headset. We're still here. Her face drains of color.
Ixt. Empty lot. Night officers stand in the cold darkness. Their radios crackle to life all at once. Fire reported. Occupants trapped. The officers smell smoke, but there is no fire. Ixt. RUINS dawn. Investigators dig beneath the ashes. They break into a hidden basement. Concrete walls. 13 names carved deeply inside, each one marked missing. The static hiss of the old radio was my only companion in the dead of night. Here in the cavernous archive room of the precinct, they call this place the morgue for forgotten cases, where stories go to die. But some stories refuse to stay buried. For weeks, I've been haunted by a series of strange, untraceable phone calls. Just a voice, raspy and distant, whispering a name and an address. Then, silence. At first, I dismissed them. Prank calls, maybe a cruel joke from a bored teenager. But the calls kept coming, each one more insistent than the last. Something about the voice. It felt old, tired, and desperate. I started digging. It was a long shot. A gut feeling I couldn't shake. I pulled every cold case file from the last 50 years. Anything with a hint of strangeness. The names from the calls started to match. Johnson, 12 Elm Street. Miller, 45 Oak Avenue. Garcia, 9 River Road. Each name corresponded to a file, but the files were thin, almost empty. No official reports, no witnesses, just a single, cryptic note attached to each incident. Under investigation, no further action. But the most chilling part, every single address had been the site of a fire. Small ones, mostly. A kitchen blaze, an electrical short, a smoldering armchair. None of them were ever reported in the system as major incidents. They were ghosts in the machine, whispers in the paperwork. My blood ran cold as I laid them all out on the long wooden table. The dates were scattered, spanning decades, but the pattern was undeniable. A name, an address, and then a fire. The police had logged them as minor accidents, statistical noise. But seeing them all together, it wasn't noise. It was a symphony of destruction, conducted by an invisible hand. Why were the files so sparse? Why were these fires, some of which must have caused significant damage, brushed under the rug? It felt like a cover-up. A citywide conspiracy of silence. I leaned back in my chair, the dusty air thick in my lungs. The calls weren't just random ramblings from a lunatic. They weren't threats. I'd been looking at this all wrong. That raspy voice wasn't gloating. It was pleading. A chill snaked up my spine as the realization hit me with the force of a physical blow. These calls weren't confessions from an arsonist proud of their work. They were warnings. The voice was trying to tell me where the next fire would be, trying to give me a chance to stop it. I was listening to the past, thinking I was solving a mystery, when all along, I was being handed the future. Suddenly, the old radio on the corner of the desk crackled to life, breaking the suffocating silence. The static gave way to that same, familiar, ghostly whisper. Henderson, 214 Maple Court. My heart hammered against my ribs. I scrambled for the city directory, my fingers fumbling with the worn pages. Henderson, 214 Maple Court. The address was just a few miles from here. This wasn't a 50-year-old cold case. This was happening now. The voice wasn't just a ghost from the past. It was a herald of something terrible about to unfold. I grabbed my coat and keys, the empty file folders fluttering in my wake. I don't know who or what is making those calls, but tonight, I'm not just a cop in an archive room. Tonight, I'm the only one who can answer. Thanks for watching. And if you're as hooked as I am, make sure to follow for the next part of the story. The phone rings, piercing the midnight silence of the 911 call center. On my screen, a new address. Materializiza. Different city. A different state. It's 2:17 a.m. Then, a sound trickles through the receiver. Find bat, insistent. The rhythmic beeping of a smoke alarm. No voice, no panic. Just the beep, a ghost. Days turn into a week, and the call becomes a nightly ritual. Same time, same address, same haunting beep. My colleagues dismiss it as a system glitch, a phantom signal from a forgotten line, but I can't shake the feeling that someone, or something, is reaching out from the void. Curiosity gnawing at me, I delve into the history of the address. The house, I discover, was destroyed in a fire a decade ago. A family was lost. The official report cited faulty wiring, a tragic accident. But the calls, they tell me a different story, driven by an obsession I can't explain. I spend my off hours piecing together the cold case. I speak to the original investigators, now retired, their memories clouded by time. I track down neighbors who have long since moved away, their voices hushed with old fears. They speak of strange occurrences, of whispers in the night, of a family that was too perfect, too secretive. The fire, they say, was no accident. The beeping from the coals starts to change. It's faster now, more urgent. It's a countdown. I realize the smoke alarm isn't a warning. It's a message, a clue left behind. I return to the ruins of the house, a place the living have abandoned. Under the moonlight, I find a charred metal box hidden beneath the floorboards, a place the original investigation missed. Inside, a diary, its pages brittle, details a story of betrayal and a crime masked by flames. The final call comes. This time, after the beeping, a single, whispered word echoes through the line. Justice. I now hold the truth. A decade-old secret unearthed by a ghost in the machine. I forward the diary to the state's cold case unit. My hands trembling. The calls stop. The silence returns to my nights, but it etched a different kind of silence, now one filled with the weight of a story that needed to be told. A story that reached out from beyond the grave to find its final closure through me.